Hi everyone, it's great to see you. I'm back today to walk you through giving the Oral Reading Fluency assessment from Acadience. Now, Acadience is a free assessment that you can give students grades K to 8. They have a reading version. They also have a math side to their assessment. And I have to say, for what it is worth, I think this is a fabulous assessment. This is an assessment that is research and evidence-based. They have a pool that they draw on thousands of students that have taken this, so they know what those parameters are to be on benchmark for a grade level to such a higher level than a teacher could do just on their own. We have our 25 kids in our own class, but to go nationwide over many, many years with thousands of students, we can really see what is typical for accuracy and fluency in this assessment. And it's free. Does it get better than that? So you can just go online to the Acadience website and it will walk you through where to click and how to download both screening assessments and progress monitoring assessments. So let me tell you the difference between those two things really quickly. Your screening assessments are given 3 times a year to everybody in your class. And the screening assessment consists of multiple little assessments, each 1 minute in length. Everybody takes that test, and it gives you a good starting place because we always look for multiple measures and never just hinge something on one test. But it gives you a good idea of those kids that are pretty much on benchmark, on grade level. And then it gives you an idea of kids that might need a little extra support that are a little bit below grade level, and then it gives you an idea of kids that are going to need significant support to become really strong readers. So you can take those kids that you see in the screener need that extra support, and you can be like, oh my gosh, okay, let's get them into a small group here. You, of course, keep giving them your fabulous instruction that you're already doing, but you add in some skills instruction to help that out. And you want to make sure, of course, that the pieces that you're adding are actually working. So that's where you go to the progress monitoring assessments online. And you can give those 1 minute quick progress monitoring assessments once a week to show that those kids are making the growth that they need to. It is a strong foundation for our multi-tiered systems of support, MTSS, that we see across the nation. It is a great way to have that documentation in front of you that you can show to other teachers and parents that look at where your child was, look at where they're going to. I mean, you are providing proof that what you're doing is awesome. We know that you're doing this hard work teaching reading in the classroom. This is a quick way to collect something substantial that you can show, evidence, research-based, that what you're doing works. So let me show you what their oral reading fluency test looks like, and we'll practice one. I'm going to walk you through giving the Acadience oral reading fluency right now so you get an idea of what an actual passage would look like. So in the teacher's materials, you're going to have the directions part that you have to read, and because this is a standardized test and we want to make sure that we are comparing situations that are identical, you do have to read this every single time you give the assessment. So I would like you to read a story to me. Please do your best reading. If you do not know a word, I will read the word for you. Keep reading until I say stop. Be ready to tell me all about the story when you finish. And at that point, it says to place the story in front of the student. The student has separate student materials. They have the story on one page in front of them. It's larger print. I like to take and put these into plastic little sleeves because the student is not going to be writing on this. Then you'll just have them all in a binder ready to go. And then you're going to begin testing. You need some type of timer for 1 minute because the student only reads for 1 minute. You know your students best. If you want a timer that just, vibrates and you know that it's done so they don't worry, that's fine. You're going to instruct the student, put your finger under the first word, and you're going to watch that they do that. Ready, begin. And then it gives you the exact instructions. You have 1 minute. You start your stopwatch after the student says the first word of the passage, and that is important. You place a bracket and you say stop after 1 minute. You can give the word if they have not given a response in 3 seconds. If no words are read correctly in this first line, then you just stop. You secretly write down 0, and you don't need to administer any more of that test. If the student hesitates too much, you can see, keep going, and that's fine. If they lose their place completely, you are allowed to point and tell them where to be looking. So here is your student materials. You've read the directions. And then behind a folder so that the student cannot see you scoring, you have a binder, a folder, something up here for them. You have your scoring sheet, which looks like this. It is the exact same text that the student has in front of them. This is where you're going to code how they read. So you have said to put your finger under the first word. With their first word, you start the timer. Many people enjoy flowers in outside gardens and in a vase in their homes. Flowers come in all colors and sizes. Many flowers smell that word is pleasant. Pleasant. People buy roses for their sweet smell and beautiful color. A rose may be red and small enough to, there's my timer, I'm going to put the bracket there, and now you don't score while the student is sitting right there because we don't want to take instructional time away. What you're going to do is you will score this afterwards. The first thing it asks is for the total number of words, and the great thing here is along the side, it tells you if you get to the end of this line, they've read 36 words, so you don't have to count every single word. You just need to count on from there. 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44 total words. And then we're going to count how many errors include skipped words. So we had outside for outdoor. We added an A. We said vase instead of vases. And we have, the teacher said pleasant, we repeated sweet. That is not an error. So now we're going to count those up. So we know that a substitution counts as an error. For Acadience, an insertion does not count as an error. However, it slows the student down because they're not getting through as many words. Vase for vases is 1 error, so now I'm up to 2. The teacher told pleasant is 3. Oh, and we left out and. That is an error because we said include skipped words. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 errors, which brings me down to 40 words correct. Now you can figure out the percent accuracy yourself here. In order to figure out the accuracy, you put the number of correct words correct, divided by the total words, multiplied by 100, and you get a percentage, 90.9. So this is about 91% accuracy. And we read 40 correct words per minute. So you're getting an idea of how well the student decodes and can figure out those words, because we need students to be able to figure out the right words first. And then we want to get them up to speed. Now, if you're wondering, how fast should the child be reading? There is a whole chart online with Acadience that breaks that down for you so you can see what the accepted benchmark is for that grade level. Once a student has completed this part, before you send them to their seat, this does give you the opportunity to get sort of a generalized viewpoint of whether the student understands what they or remembers what they read. This is not the best comprehension measure. This is a great accuracy fluency measure. So after they read, you're going to say, now tell me as much as you can about the story you just read. And you've taken the paper away, ready, begin. And you give them 1 minute and have them tell as much as they can. As they do that, you run a line through the numbers here to see how many words they can say. So they say, flowers are enjoyed by many people in vases. They say that's all they can remember. Well, they said 8 words to remember that. That, you're going to look. Is it 2 or fewer details, 3 or more details? You have some students that will be able to parrot right back the entire reading, some that will say they can't remember anything. Once again, this is just sort of a generalized how much do they remember type piece. What we really do the oral reading fluency for are these numbers here. How accurate are they and able to figure out those words, and what is their fluency? We can't work at getting faster and fluent until we're reading the right words, because it doesn't help us to be able to read beautifully smooth and quickly if they're the wrong words. So we always focus first, okay, let's get those skills that we need to be able to identify words correctly, and then we bring up the level of automaticity so that we can read those quickly and fluently. If you found this helpful, to look closely at the Acadience Oral Reading Fluency Assessment, like and subscribe below, because next I'm going to look at the Acadience assessments, the subtests of nonsense word fluency, first sound fluency, phoneme segmentation fluency, and maze. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.